think the Steelers.
Yeah, Steelers. They won when they were in Detroit.
Yeah,
for the Super Bowl. Yeah.
I would have tried to get on a team that won a lot before.
That's hilarious. That's funny.
All right, we're rolling. We're ready to go.
Okay. Dewayne, I appreciate so much being able to have a conversation with you, and thanks for being a part of our Business Leaders Forum. Did you enjoy it? Was it fun?
I enjoyed it. I did it.
Yeah.
It's something new, and I think it was a pleasure to share my story.
Well, your story was absolutely relevant. I mean, the idea of vocational transition and how to deal with it, and how your football career came to an end, and you had to, find new direction, and you take it with humor, which is interesting, which I appreciate. So, we've been talking about the Lions and how it shows your business acumen to choose the one team in the entire NFL that probably will never win the Super Bowl. Good job.
Maybe next year they'll win it. Maybe next year.
I've been saying, I'm 58. I've been saying that forever. Next year. But I'm a Detroit Lions fan, But anyway, so talk to me about how you didn't think that your experience as an NFL player was relevant to other people in business and leadership, because I know you thought, hey, there are only a couple of people that play my position. I'm in the NFL. What I'm experiencing isn't relevant. But have you discovered differently?
Yes. I learned that this is a human condition. This is not just from my perspective, a defensive end position or NFL player position. This is a human condition that when you get let go from a job, you have those same feelings of anger and your attachment issues that we had to the job. And I now feel like I could share that and have other people understand that this is just part of life.
Absolutely.
As a human.
And you did make a transition, and all of life is really transitions.
Yeah.
And you went through a big one, NFL done and moving into business. What are some of the big differences you've experienced between what it was like to invest in as a football player at the highest level to now investing in business? I know you're in real estate and that kind of thing.
I think the hardest thing is, and I've struggled with this throughout my high school, college, even professional, everyone that was on staff or in the building were there to make you better. Mm-hmm. Everyone that got hired. In the business world, it's like everyone's a competition. Everyone looks at you as opposition. So that was the hardest thing. It's like, I thought we were going to work together, and then all of a sudden they're trying to get this client, and I'm like, oh. So it was a big perspective change, because I had never had a coach tell me to do something wrong, but I have a guy that I thought was like a business partner, or we're gonna do something together, and it turns out he wanted to just do it by himself. So
wow. So they were trying to leverage in the business world. You're finding even if you're in partnership, they're leveraging for themselves.
Yes.
Versus football, it was all about making you the best you could be for the team.
And for the team, everybody was working for the team, even though individually we were working to become better.
Sure.
At our positions, but ultimately that pushed the team forward.
Right.
And from the trainers to the equipment to the chefs to everybody wanted what's best for the team.
Were you surprised when you got in the business world and you didn't have chefs and you didn't have limousines?
Oh, no, I wasn't surprised. I knew that was not coming, but
I get it. So was it a big transition for you? Because it seems to me, and it kind of goes along with what you were saying, that in football, you were really being directed. It's like you have a coach telling you what to do, and assistant coaches, and trainers, and nutritional people. It's like a lot of direction, and you're reacting to that. And then you get out, and now you're the director, you're the coach, you're having to run this thing. Was that a real difficult transition? Have you gotten through it? Are you still in it? I'd be curious about that.
Oh, that's the hardest thing. Today is a perfect example. Like, I get up early, I'm trying to fill my day with things, and then because not everyone's on a certain schedule like we were in football, so it's trying to get people to, and I'm more task oriented. As long as you get this done by the day, I'm not going to care too much. but it's just today. This is what we need done. And I try to get between 3 to 5 things done each day, and then I consider that a successful day for me.
That's neat. And then how do you guys? That's interesting. And you're having to decide those instead of being told like you were in football. Here's the 5 things you're. How do you go about deciding what you think the priorities to invest in that day are, and is it still difficult for you?
It's still difficult. I put yearly goals of what I would like to accomplish, and then I back them down to quarters. So each month I want to have this happen, and this happen, and that's how I judge.
And then each day you try and break those things down?
Yeah, activities to make the quarterly things happen, and make sure we do those. And if we miss, we need to make it up next month.
Right.
So that's kind of.
Have you found growing? I'm as a leader, and I've been senior pastor of this one church for 26 years, and I'm telling you that the hardest things in the world are relearning your leadership and relearning what you're supposed to be doing. What I used to do, and it was important and was successful, if I now keep doing that, it actually leads to failure. And so I have to grow. I have to connect with people who can help me see leadership through a different lens and teach me leadership through a different lens. I read and those kind of things. How have you gone about that? Have you found people that can help you grow through those things? What are you doing to develop as a leader?
Same things.
Yeah.
I've been reading a lot of audio books. I drive around, a lot of audio books, seminars, and people like that's been there, done that I could call. So what do you think? And mainly, the books has been really phenomenal. The one book, I don't know if I mentioned to you, Letting Go, it's about attachment and certain things.
Oh, that's interesting. No.
That's been good. Dale Carnegie is probably the best book. How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Classic.
Oh, it works. I'm building a house. I'm dealing with an engineer. I'm dealing with a doctor or a professor or a scientist. They're all different. And in this book, I have to re-listen to it, but it puts everyone's on a level playing field.
Right.
And I know how to interact with each person.
Right.
So
now I know, at least from the outside looking in, I know there's a lot of hard work and a lot of hurt. You even got hurt playing football in the career that you had. But it seems to me like the adrenaline of like you're on the field. I've been on Ford Field and tried to kick a field goal. I couldn't do it. But anyway, but I mean, there's just so much adrenaline wrapped up in that. And now you don't have it. Has that been a difficult journey, or are you finding adrenaline and having fun doing what you're doing now, and how do you process that?
I get excited about the little things. It's not one big venture on Sundays. I get excited in the little things, and and seeing something that I thought could happen actually happen, and then just drive by it. I was like, I built that house, or I built that building, or I did that.
That's neat.
And I get a little bit adrenaline pop driving through and seeing what I've helped build and help create. So that's kind of how I've been going through it.
I actually love that because I mean, as a leader, leaders are about inspiring others, but leaders who aren't inspired themselves can't inspire anyone. And so you actually drive by your project, re-celebrate different things that have gone on, and keep yourself inspired that way.
Exactly. So, they changed the landscape. They added trees. Things like that the homeowner has now done to the home or the business. I was like, maybe we need some more color in the landscape. So we go and say, they got that done, and
that's great. Just to see
pride
it
of
move forward.
ownership almost. Of that's something that I helped create.
And did you find, once again, in the career you had, it's so highly celebrated in our culture. It's like people are always encouraging you, always celebrating you. It was always instantaneous. Even the bad stuff was instantaneous and all that. Have you found that it's an absolute essential for you to replace that to be as effective in your real life now that that's gone? Do you have people in your life that are your encouragers that you have found that can do that? Have you found people who can actually tell you you're making a mistake now? Because you used to have it whether you liked it or not in football. Have you tried to replace that in your leadership world?
No, I haven't really. I've been making a lot of mistakes, so so it's like I do need someone to tell me not to do that, but it's just kind
Your
of.
wife doesn't help there?
She does actually. You know what? She has. She has. My wife has helped me because I would run things by her. It's like, no, Dwayne, remember when you did that and it didn't work? You probably shouldn't do it again. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. And, yeah, you know what? Yeah, this is my wife's probably. So I was like, I think about doing this, and she was like, don't do it because of this. Then we have a good conversation. So my wife is the balancing because I want to do it, and she's like, don't do it. You already did it. So I think if anyone, she's the one that keeps me grounded. Encouraging wise, it's just those victories when I see something and it actually happens and I made it happen and it works. Mm-hmm. That's my encouragement. I try not to get too much, but also the homeowners or clients, customers, they feed that.
So what are the questions you're asking these days? I mean, what are the difficulties you're trying to overcome, the questions you're asking these days to keep growing?
The biggest question, is what's next?
That's big.
What's next? And is this sustainable? And I always, same thing with football career. I knew that was going to end this portion. Like, at what point do I need to expand where I'm really big, or can I stay at this level right here and just coast through? So there's the what next portion of it, and should we start hiring more people and get all that? It's just the biggest question is like, where do I go? Do I stay here or do I go big?
That's great. And by the way, leadership questions, right? We always have to be discerning that and where we are. And would you say that your experience with the NFL about the what next thing? It's like, and it all dropping out from under you. It's over. And then also, everybody grabbing at you for a second, then all of a sudden everyone's gone because you're no longer in that career. Do those things haunt you in your what next decisions, or not really?
No, not those. Because everybody knows the statistics of NFL players, and I knew them going into it, and you kind of know who's going to be around and who's not during those times, and it's just part of it, it's part of it, and you take it and you refocus on, and then what I did is refocus on my kids and my family, and I just really try to grow them and spend as much time, and once you do that, you kind of don't see the other people outside because it's focused.
Well, I love what you said to me in a previous conversation, in fact, in our Business Leaders Forum about football was what I did, but it wasn't who I was, and you've tried to replace that with the true values in your life. But I think a good way to wrap up our conversation about leadership is because everything's about economics in a sense, any business thing, any investment, your what next decisions. And you had a lot of people in the NFL and all sports made a lot of money, and then now they have none. And I mean, they're bankrupt and they're in a horrible situation. Was that a fearful thing for you, kind of, in your career and your end? And, what did you do to try and prevent that from happening to you? And how are you trying to maybe help others in that way, too?
Well, that was since college, when I was getting drafted. I got the newspaper. Everyone's like, Dwayne, you got to do this. So my first car was very inexpensive car because you hear about all that. I didn't buy a house until I was well into the season. I lived with someone, but that was always my fear, was not to lose what little I had. So I made investments into rental properties, and obviously rental properties did pretty well, but I made some other investments in speculation of some stuff and lost some money, and that's where I always say, it's like, you could go broke, try not to go broke.
Yeah, that's good.
And what I learned was, as long as I invested in income-producing properties, I did really well. So that's what I try to do now, is invest in property that's already making money. So the second part of the question was,
you're actually trying to help some of these other guys.
Yes. Part of Lions started a Peer Pride. It just is really an outreach to some guys that they lost contact with, and stay in touch with them and answer any questions about health. The NFL offers a lot of health, fitness, financial assistance, and just try to give them an outlet to some of those resources, because a lot of people, just like me, at some point they felt very alone. They go back to their hometown and they're in a house somewhere and they lost everything, and they're just a very, very difficult situation. And I called one gentleman that played for the Lions in Louisiana. He's got a Papa John's pizza. And he says, hey, it's football season. I go and deliver it to the local high school team, and before he knows it, he started coaching there, and now he's helping out. So
That's awesome.
It was a great story that I had a conversation with a gentleman about that. So that feels good in that we can talk, share some stories, and that builds a little bit more community that you talked about. It's like we live that life, and only we can talk about it. So.
Well, I absolutely love. I love how you've made the transition. Yeah. I love that you're founded on faith. That you're not just investing in your future, but you're investing in other people's lives who you can relate to from the NFL in the past. Yeah. And so, thanks for all you're doing, and thanks for your time, man. I've enjoyed it.
No problem. Me too.
Thanks, Dewayne.